Welcome to Rise and Unwind. I'm Mandy, and this week we have this.
To socialize with our friends who wanted to go out to eat all the time, I just couldn't do it because I was so unsure of the food that might trigger me.
And so I've always been aware of the Opry and how much it meant. And so my family and I have lived in Nashville now for almost a decade. And so to be able to walk on that stage where so many people have been before.
39% overall of everybody that we looked at said that they feel pressure to post vacation content while traveling. That number jumps higher the younger that you are.
All that and more this week on Rise and Unwind. Imagine being worried that something as simple as a food or a change in temperature could make you sick. That's life with indolent systemic mastocytosis, a rare disease that can affect many parts of the body. Jackie is here to share with us her journey, and Dr. Dareen Siri will explain more about it and a treatment that's helping. Welcome to you both.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
As a mom and grandmother, how did you manage family life while dealing with this?
I started having symptoms with mastocytosis back in the 1990s. I was working as a nurse then and had a myriad of symptoms. I had migraine headaches, stomach issues, GI issues. I would have blood blisters in my mouth, or an itchy rash on my neck and on my chest, and just generalized itching everywhere. And I attributed it to the stress of the job itself. And so just pushed the symptoms back until I got to the point that they didn't go away and they were getting worse. So I sought out medical help, and I saw many doctors. And finally, in 2014, I was diagnosed with ISM, and after a bone marrow biopsy and a blood test.
Wow, that's a lot. What were some of the symptoms that were hardest on you day to day?
Oh, I think the hardest symptom I had was the stomach and the GI issues. It got so bad that I couldn't plan a day out for fear that something wouldn't agree with me. And I got to the point where I would just not eat anything before I went out. And that was hard. To socialize with our friends who wanted to go out to eat all the time, I just couldn't do it because I was so unsure of the food that might trigger me. So those were a couple of the things that were hard. But I'd say the worst I ever had was the ongoing diarrhea that I had.
And I can't imagine how interrupting of life that must be. It must be so hard. Once you started treatment with AYVAKIT, how did that change things for you?
Once I started AYVAKIT, the symptoms got better. I did have some side effects with it, but they went away fairly quickly. And right now, I've been taking it for 2 years, and my symptoms are much, much better, and I'm getting my life back again.
Dr. Siri, for families watching at home, how would you explain ISM and what should people know about it?
Yes, ISM is not a common disease, but certainly it can occur in up to 1 in 5,000 people, men and women, usually in adulthood. Obviously, we are here to speak to you on behalf of Blueprint Medicine to educate that people should be looking out for it. It's a lot more common than we thought it was. And essentially what it is that there are cells in our body, they're natural immune cells. We call them mast cells, M-A-S-T. They're part of the immune system, or they're a white cell. The manufacture of these white cells in our body and our natural processes has gotten mutated because of a gene that now is mutated, that we've acquired as an adult. And now we make too many mast cells and they have nowhere to go. So they have to embed and get, into tissues. Like they'll go into the skin, so you can have weird rashes and flushing and hives. They'll go into the gut, so people think they're having all of a sudden new food intolerances and allergies. They'll go into the nervous system and surrounding the nervous tissue. And so then people get headaches and brain fog. Some people get bone pain. Some people get early onset osteoporosis because it's interfering with, our bone marrow. And so there are a lot of different various symptoms people can have. It's usually not life-threatening. It is indolent, meaning that it kind of creeps up slowly on you and you get more and more symptoms as these mast cells are invading more organs. And so it is really quite impactful and debilitating to some of the patients, and certainly usually adults. And again, like I said, men or women.
If someone wants to learn more or find resources, where should they go?
They can certainly go to AYVAKIT.com. That's AYVAKIT.com. That is the medication that Blueprint Medicine manufactures. It's a precise and targeted medication exactly to interrupt that process where that mutation occurs in the mast cell so that people are not making as many mast cells. And so in clinical trials, it reduced brain fog, it reduced skin symptoms, it reduced GI symptoms, and it was really helpful for patients in reducing at least 50% of their symptoms. And again, because of this precision treatment, it wasn't this generic thing that we think about as far as medications like antihistamines that basically just focus on reducing symptoms. So it really is potentially appropriate for patients. In addition, there can be side effects. So we don't give it to patients who have low platelets, and people can get things such as swelling around the eyes or the legs. And so they really should talk to their doctor to see if this is an appropriate diagnosis and if the medication is appropriate for them.
Thank you, Jackie. Dr. Siri, thank you for being here and sharing with your experiences with us.
Well, thank you
so
for
much.
having us.
From pop hits to powerful faith-filled anthems, Stars Go Dim has built a global following. Now, frontman Chris Cleveland is back with a brand new album called Roses, a project years in the making that blends retro grooves with heartfelt lyrics. He also just celebrated a milestone moment with his debut at the Grand Ole Opry. Chris joins us now to talk about it all. Welcome to the show, Chris. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Roses, it was just released. What was the inspiration behind this album, and how does it reflect where you are right now in life?
Oh, so much. I think anytime with music, the best way to make it is to make music that means something to you in the moment and just to be as honest as possible. And so this record is the first record I produced 100% myself. And so it's the most authentic me record. It's really vintage. It's really soulful. It's vibey. And then just the content of the album is all about just taking a step back, like really slowing down and seeing like the greatest pieces of life are in these small moments that sometimes if we're too busy, we just fly past. And so hopefully as people hear this, they have a really good time as they listen to the record, but they can also slow down and enjoy those small pieces and moments of life.
And the album, it mixes faith and everyday life in a really unique way. Can you share how your songwriting process brought those themes together?
Absolutely. I think with this album, I wrote every single song from one question. It's a question I've asked myself a lot of times, especially if you're a person of faith, is like, in the very best and in the very worst of life, how does this thing work with God? Like, how does he meet us? Does it? And these songs are kind of answers to those questions. And as I went through, I think I realized more and more, especially with my co-writers, that I think God meets us the most in these seemingly small moments. And not saying that these big, huge miracles and things can't happen. It just hasn't been my experience in life. But what I have seen is the incredible joy, the incredible love, the incredible life, the incredible faith through those small moments. And so that's what a lot of these songs, every song, is all about.
And also, congratulations on making your debut at the Grand Ole Opry. That's pretty massive.
Thanks.
How was that night like for you?
Incredible. You know, I've been traveling and playing since I was 10 years old. I turned 40 this year, so 30 years. And so it felt like a really awesome celebration of a career. And I grew up in Oklahoma, and so my grandma was a songwriter. And so I've always been aware of the Opry and how much it meant. And so my family and I have lived in Nashville now for almost a decade. And so to be able to walk on that stage where so many people have been before, it was a really special moment.
And one of your standout tracks is your song, which you dedicated to fans. What is some of the what is that connection with your listeners mean to you?
Everything. I think I wrote this song specifically for people. Like, if you've ever needed just a song to make you feel better than you do right now, that's what your song is all about. From the lyric to the feel, as soon as it comes on, you just want to crank it up, throw the windows down, and just blast it. And hopefully when you do that, you're going to feel better once the song is over than when it started. And that's what your song is all about, just to make you feel great.
Chris, thanks for joining me this morning. Check out Chris Cleveland's new album, Roses, From Stars Go Dim. It's out now everywhere music is sold and streamed. For more information on the music, videos, and tour dates, just go to his website, starsgodim.com. Thanks for joining me this morning, Chris.
You bet, man. Thank you.
So what happens when law enforcement uncovers a plot bigger than anyone ever imagined? Well, that's the premise of Countdown, Prime Video's edge of your seat action series. Two of the stars join us today. That's Elliot Knight and Uli Latukefu, who are here to give us a behind-the-scenes look towards the explosive finale. Welcome, Elliot and Uli. How are you two?
Thank you, dude. Good, man. Good. How are you?
I've been doing okay. I've been checking out the show, and it moves fast, and it keeps viewers hooked. What was it about Countdown that made you both want to be part of it?
I'll go first. A combination of things. There was an opportunity to work in this genre, to being able to work in Los Angeles, which is great, and three, we'd just come off the back of a strike, so every bit helps.
Yeah, exactly. And also, to work with Derek Haas, he has such an amazing track record of the shows that he's made, and there is a really beautiful element of this show that's like, honoring those classic fun action movies and that whole genre. To do that in TV in sort of a new age and for a new audience is really an honor, and that's been a lot of fun too.
Elliot, your character is caught up in this secret task force. How did you prepare for that role and the intensity that it brings?
I think focusing on the stakes, what the real world stakes would be with what the task force are focused on. This is a deadly threat to the city of Los Angeles that could wipe it off of the map. It's something that should be unbelievable, but there are people in real life who have to consider those consequences. And so I think making sure that as the character, he's focused on making sure that does not happen, but also there is fun to be had, and you still have to be a person to do that job. It can't be dire all the time. So finding that balance of dire stakes, but also explosive fun as you go along has really made for an incredible ride, and hopefully one that translates on screen for everyone to enjoy as well.
Uli, you've had such a wide range of roles from Young Rock to Black Adam. What stands out about your experience on Countdown?
Oh man, we had so much fun making this show, and especially given the genre, it's things can get a little intense, on the show, but it didn't feel like that at all for this. And working with this team has been amazing. Being able to work in LA, I live in LA now, and it really has been a dream come true. I'm sure Elliot will echo the same sentiment. In terms of, I've never been in a cop show like this, an American cop show, which was always fun. It's always kind of been on my bucket list to tick off, and hopefully we can continue to do that for years to come, because we've had a ball making it, and I think the show's great.
And the cast, it includes some big names like Jensen, Ackles, and Dane. What's it been like collaborating with them on set?
Jensen's amazing and a great leader for our team. He brings not just such skill to the role, and he really is Mark Meacham in so many ways, which is so fun to watch him play out, but also he's led the fun and the camaraderie that we have on set. He's made sure that we all know how lucky and grateful we are to be doing this, and to make sure we enjoy every moment. And honestly, even like Eric, he has a much more somber role in the show, but he brings his own personality and element of fun to work as well, and it really adds to the joy we get from doing this job. And then I think the product on screen is clear. This is a group of very, very talented people, and especially the big stars amongst that too. It's amazing to get to share in that with them.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, I want to thank you two for hanging out with me today. Catch new episodes of Countdown every Wednesday, only on Prime Video, and don't miss the season finale streaming September 3rd. Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much.
It's one thing to imagine an alien invasion, but it's another to build a show that makes you feel like you're living through it. Invasion is back for season 3 on Apple TV Plus, and this time the fight takes us straight into the hearts of the alien mothership. From X-Men to The Martian, Simon Kinberg knows how to tell a big cinematic story, and he's here to talk about raising the stakes, bringing characters together, and what we can expect for this next wave when it hits. Welcome to the show, Simon. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. Happy to be here.
All right, so this season brings all of the perspectives from like the past seasons together for the first time. How did that shift change and the tone and the pace of the show?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I was most excited about, really from the beginning of conceiving the show, was that eventually all of these different strands of stories and characters would come together. And it took us, 2 full seasons and now into our 3rd season to finally bring these characters together, because they started in all these disparate places, from Asia to the US to Europe to Northern Africa. And finally, all of our main characters are sort of smashed together on a mission that adds a different level of stakes and in some ways sort of action and velocity to the season 2. The show has been picking up pace as the seasons go on. The first season was kind of like Act 1 of a movie, and the second season was Act 2, where things start to pick up, and then this is really the sort of big clash of like an Act 3 of a film.
And Invasion always has these balanced global, has always these different personal stories from around the world. How do you make sure those human moments will shine in such a big sci-fi setting?
Well, for me, the opportunity and the challenge of the show is to keep it really intimate while also making it really, massive in scale and scope. And the movies that I watched growing up, whether it was E.T. or Star Wars or Back to the Future or Terminator, they always did a really good job of balancing those two things, the epic and the intimate. And so I just look to those as sort of my North Stars when I'm trying to find the right balance for the show.
And you've got some familiar faces back and some new cast members. What can you tell us about the dynamics between the characters this season?
Well, this season is just completely different than the previous 2 seasons, because all these characters come together for the first time, and so they're having to learn to be a team. The main characters that people who've watched the first couple of seasons hopefully have come to love and have followed. This is the first time that they're really interacting and really forced to become like a little family to survive. And so the dynamic is completely different, because we have all of these people from different parts of the world coming together on a singular mission to try to save the world.
And for fans who've been with Invasion from the start, and maybe for those who are jumping in now, what's one of the things that you hope is a good takeaway from season 3?
I think the thing that's the biggest and coolest thing about season 3 is that we have all these characters coming together for the first time. That you see, if you've been watching, and even if you haven't, you see these characters from completely different worlds, some of whom don't even fully speak the same languages, certainly from completely different cultures and backgrounds. They're all smashed together on a mission that's critical to the survival of the human race, and so the stakes are super high for these characters, and it's a chance for them to get to know each other in the way that we as audience have come to know them.
Simon Kinberg, thanks for joining us this morning. Invasion Season 3 is streaming now on Apple TV Plus, with new episodes dropping every Friday through October 24th. Dive in, catch up, and see what happens when the fight to save humanity goes straight to the mothership. Hey, thanks for joining us, Simon.
Thank you for having me.
Travel isn't just about where you're going, it's also about how often we're packing our bags, how much we're spending, and why sometimes a vacation really is the best medicine. Talker Research just released their 2025 Travel Trends Report, and it's given us a peek in how Americans are traveling this year. So joining me are Van Darden, Director of Media Relations for Talker Research. Welcome to the show, Van. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start with the big picture. What stood out to you most from this year's Travel Trends Report?
Yeah, well, this year's report gave us a really interesting snapshot of how Americans are traveling and how travel is tied to so much more than just vacation photos. We identified 3 major takeaways in this year's report. By the numbers first, the average traveler takes 2.5 trips per year and spends $3,500 annually on travel. And that's not including luxury or international trips. That's just domestic travel. Our second big finding, travel could equal better mental health. People reported feeling 67% better mentally after taking a trip, and 40% of people with excellent mental health say that travel is a huge part of their lives. That's compared to 12% of people with poor mental health who say that travel is a part of their lives. And then third, how technology and social media feeds into inspiration sources, for example. YouTube came out over top overall. That's the number one place that people go for travel inspiration. Gen Z, on the other hand, are looking at TikTok to get inspired, and millennials are embracing kind of emerging AI tools like ChatGPT to both get inspired and help plan their trips.
Excellent. To be lucky enough to have no mental health problems and be able to travel more. I'm part of that last group. You dug into generational differences. How does travel look different for, let's say, millennials and compared to boomers?
Yeah, that was one of the more interesting things that we found as well. So millennials, we found, were the most travel hungry generation. Millennials average 4.2 international trips in their lifetime, which may not sound like a lot over the span of someone's life, but 44% of baby boomers, on the other hand, say that they have never traveled abroad. So a big difference there in those generations. Another big generational divide showed up around social media and how people use it and react to it while traveling. 39% overall of everybody that we looked at said that they feel pressure to post vacation content while traveling. That number jumps higher the younger that you are. Gen Z and millennials, 55% and 51% respectively, feel this strong pressure to post while traveling. Boomers, just 15% say that they feel that same pressure to pull out their phones and post. Then, of course, there's the do it for the gram mindset. 1 in 3 people admit to doing things while traveling just to be able to post it on social media. Doing it for the gram is still very much alive.
There you go. And it sounds like pulling off a report like this takes a heck of a lot of work. What goes into gathering and analyzing all this data?
Yeah, well, like you said, pulling off a report like this is definitely a big lift. But it's also one of the most exciting things that we do at Talker Research. What makes our process really special is the scale and the flexibility of the data that we can tap into. We've talked already a lot about age differences, generational differences. We can also look at regional differences, even state-by-state breakdowns. And it's certainly looking at emerging trends over time. It's a big piece of this piece of research that we did here talking about today. What all of this is designed to do is help uncover unexpected insights and plan for the future. What we really do is help brands establish themselves through thought leadership, help companies make strategic decisions and spot emerging trends. Again, a couple of years ago, we weren't even talking about AI as it relates to travel planning, and yet it's a huge piece of so many people's travel plans and pre-planning to take a trip. I think one of the key takeaways is that large data reports like this are vital for staying relevant in a fast-changing world, and that is true for any company, any brand, any industry, in any sector. You got to stay on top of the trends, and we can help you do that.
So what types of trips are people most excited about right now, and what kind of seems to be kind of losing the steam?
Right. Well, the vibe right now that we're hearing is relax and recharge. So think taking a vacation to the beach, spending a weekend at the lake, maybe getting out of the city and spending some time in the country. All of these kind of relaxation kind of trips is what people are saying is trending right now for what they want to do. All of this over the more adrenaline junkie vacations like ski trips, which was at the bottom of the list. Backpacking, also least popular. I guess people really want to slow down, not really work too hard for it, and just really relax. We also asked about a bucket list for people who want to take trips. The number one bucket list dream vacation right now, a road trip across the USA, was the number one. 32% of everybody said that's what they want to see. The Statue of Liberty came in at number 5. Of course, there were some perpetual favorites internationally, like exploring Paris, seeing the Northern Lights in Iceland, and seeing the cherry blossoms bloom in Japan. But really, one of the main trends that we're seeing is that domestic travel is trending, and that goes even for bucket list vacation.
Excellent. Yeah, I just got back from a trip, and I want to go back. That's where I want to be. If anyone wants to check out this full report or dive deeper into some of these findings, where should they go?
Yeah, talkerresearch.com/travel. There was so much more data we didn't have time to talk about today. So many trends that we didn't get a chance to speak on. talkerresearch.com/travel. You can see the full report. Might get inspired.
Van, you are the man. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks so much.
Do you ever wonder what happens when love, family, and small town drama all collide? That's the heart of My Life with the Walter Boys. After a whirlwind first season, the story is back with even more twists, tension, and second chances. Joining us are Nikki Rodriguez, Noah Lalonde, and Ashby Gentry, better known as Jackie, Cole, and Alex, to talk about season 2 and now streaming on Netflix. Welcome to the show, you three. How are you?
Thank you.
Doing
So
well.
good.
Good, thank you.
All right, Nikki, your character Jackie went through a lot this season. How does she approach coming back to Silver Falls after spending the summer in New York?
Yeah, I think, when she comes back to Silver Falls this time, I think she's ready to kind of face things head on a little bit. And I think she just wants to be like the perfect version of herself to kind of just make up for her past in a way. So I think that's her overall goal this season.
And Noah, Cole is stepping into a new role at school this season. What's it like to explore that side of him, and how does it affect his relationships?
Yeah, I think it was fascinating to step into that new side of him, because I think it's a version of himself that's taking ownership over his life. After throughout season 1, there was a lot of directing blame on other people and kind of self-sabotaging. So I think, taking ownership of your path and allowing, that growth to happen and start to prepare to be who you want to be for other people in your life, your family, the people who you want to show up for. So that was it was a cool turn to take.
Ashby, and your character, Alex, seemed to have changed a lot since we last saw him. How did you prepare to show that growth, especially with his focus on rodeo training?
Well, I listened to a lot of cowboy podcasts and watched a lot of YouTube videos and walked through the park a lot. And the rest of it, you'll have to see on screen. Yeah.
The show is based on a beloved book, and it's taken a life of its own. What's been like interacting with fans and hearing from them and seeing how connected they are to your characters and the story?
I mean, it's been an absolute dream come true. I think you always hope that you're bringing the character, like you're doing justice in a way. And so it's just been really lovely, the response.
And is there anything that you are expecting or would hope that your audience will take from season 2?
Yeah, of course. I think I hope that they would take it. I hope that they would to take away some of the lessons that are to be yourself, to love hard and love your family, and just know that if tomorrow doesn't work out, the next day is always there.
All right, I want to thank you three for joining me this morning. Season 2 of My Life with the Walter Boys is streaming now on Netflix. Make sure you watch and catch all of the drama that's been unfolding in Silver Falls. Thank you three for joining me.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to Rise and Unwind. If you want to learn more, go to our website, riseunwindtv.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for behind-the-scenes action, and subscribe to our YouTube at Rise Unwind. Until next week, that was Rise and Unwind.
Valentine, string your magic arrow, pierce it through my